What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about Faces of Death. Because this is my life now. This film is being distributed by IFC Films slash Shudder. It's coming out. You know it's coming out. The internet has already been reacting to the video, to the trailers. Genre fans are super excited for this film. What is it? I've seen it. What is it? Barbie Ferreira, Dacre Montgomery, Josie Tato. I don't know, but however you say her last name. I want to say Tatro because of Jimmy Tatro, but I know they're not the same person. Um, and Charlie SCX is are the, I guess, the stars, and Jermaine Fowler is here. So it's from the director of How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which is inherently the most interesting thing that you could find about this movie because, yes, I know, even with the what it's based on, because of the commentary that that director put into How to Blow Up a Pipeline and how it's not so easily defined as being like pro-eco-terrorism. So Faces of Death is, so I'm aware of what Face of Death is. No, I never saw the original. Fuck it. No, never. I remember going through video rental stores as a kid and seeing that thing like in the section, and even then it had like a warning, had like a little special like parental warning thing around the box itself. So like on the front of it, like you could just see what the title was, but there was like a, mature label on it so that kids couldn't rent it without, so you had to be like an adult to rent Faces of Death. Anyway, I lived in a small town. We had one of those local chains that had like 10 stores in the area, but it wasn't like nationwide. So they did what they wanted. Not, it wasn't a Blockbuster, it wasn't a movie gallery, it wasn't a Hollywood Video. So yeah, that's my opinion. I actually did grow up thinking it was like a documentary about death, and I was like, why would I want to see that? But it's not. It's, the whole thing was like faked and staged to look really real, which I guess in and of itself is impressive, especially considering the 70s and the special effects to kind of look like you were watching, you know, I don't know, those, whatever. This movie is commenting on that. It's an update on fans of. I didn't realize there were like rabid fans of Faces of Death, but there are apparently in this world. And so the film centers around Barbie Ferreira's character. It's like Morgan or something like that's her name. And she's a content moderator for a social video type thing, like a TikToky type thing, or Saro or whatever. Like how we just buried Saro into the ground recently. Um, so yeah, it's like that. So she's content moderation, but I'm just gonna give you the overview and we're gonna go back around to it. I don't know if I like this movie or not. I'm working it out in my head. So if you think like my tone or whatever is weird, it's because I'm weird on this film, because it's good and bad. It's the best and worst movie you'll see this year. It's like two different things at the same time. So I have to figure out what I'm doing with this movie while I'm talking to you about it, because I cannot wrap my head around what I do with this movie. So she sees some stuff online, and in the world of deep fakes and everything, it's not entirely sure what's real and what's not, and she's trying to block certain things, and do we report this? Oh, it looks like somebody's actually being killed, and like, oh no, it's a deep fake, and oh, what is it? What is this? And she sees videos being posted from the old Faces of Death movie, but then she sees what look like people are recreating the Faces of Death and like updating it for a more modern era. You hear the old voice, which I'm assuming is the same voice from the original film, that's being played here over some of these videos. and they focus on some of what I guess are the iconic deaths. So if you're somebody who was like, what deaths are in this movie? I don't know, they reference the electric chair and the monkey brain scene a lot. This is also a film that, because of its nature and them trying to figure out if a video is real or not, they end up playing it like back and forth, like over and over again. So it ends up being an extraordinarily gory film because if anything's happening, chances are you're going to get it like repeated and back and forth over and over. So, because they're going to be like, oh, look at that. Is it real? I don't know. Let's play it again. So, um, so she ends up getting involved because I'm gonna stay away from spoilers in general, but we're diving into the film in so much that if you knew nothing about it, you'll know something about it. So so one of the reasons I don't like the movie is because she lives in like some like weird world where like no one believes her. Like there is not a single sympathetic voice. So the messaging here is supposed to be that our current like level and tolerance for violence and stuff and how we consume it and our being drawn to it and all that kind of thing, right? There is not one person in this movie other than Barbie Ferreira who's like appalled, shocked, dismayed, bothered, concerned. I'm not even really sure what it is that she's supposed to be moderating because nobody seems to actually give a shit. So they don't really do a great job of explaining at the beginning with her job when she gets this job at content moderating at this fake social media platform. Like, what is it that she's blocking if no one cares? Like, if if everyone is so passe about it that they're just like, I don't know, whatever. Oh my god, I like it's like therapy. So she runs into somebody who's like looking at some violent death or something and on their phone, and it's like therapy. I'm like, what is happening in this movie? Why is there a single person? Can she not have a best friend to talk to who is like, oh my god, I know this is terrible. And part of it that's so weird is that they make a point of making sure that she's under an NDA, so she can't, so that the secrets of her like disclosing, but she talks to people anyway. Um, she has like a gay best friend that got her the job and ended up in and but he doesn't give a shit either. Like no one in this film cares except Barbie Ferreira. No one cares. Like she can anyone she goes to, and the problem also is that she was in a viral social thing that people ended up watching, like her trauma, Train Girl. I won't spoil that for you, but she gets called Train Girl a lot when people recognize her. So, um, so she just lives in like her own personal hell where everybody's like gaslighting her into this like it's a bit much for me. Like it's a bit much because it's unrealistic that she wouldn't have found a single sympathetic voice anywhere to talk to at all ever. Like no one. I mean, there's no one in her life that she goes to and is like, "Hey girl," and they're like, "What's up?" You would not believe. I had a day today. Oh, tell me about it. Listen, I have to watch these videos all day. Oh my God, I couldn't do your job. Like, none of that ever happens. She just, like, everyone around her is just like, oh, I don't know. It's whatever. And then, like, when she starts bitching about her job, her friend's like, I put you up for this job, okay? I thought you could do this. I don't let me down. So I'm I'm I hate the craft of the film because it's so heavy-handed. Knowing that this comes from the director of How to Blow Up a Pipeline, I'm like, well, that film had nuance. This one has none. This film is throwing nuance out the window. First of all, you do know who's behind it, like really early on. It doesn't even really hide who, at least the main person is that's recreating the video. There's other people that are sort of involved in the videos, and it's sort of a blurred, like, is this one person? Is it a gaggle of people? Is it a gang? But there's definitely one central villain in this that is leading the charge. And it does not hide who that person is from you. So pretty early on, you'll know which of the actors is on the uh, team villain. It's not Barbie, so I'll spoil that for you. She's your final girl. So she has to try to stop, but by looking through like metadata and stuff like that, she's trying to figure out like, where are these videos coming from? Are they real? Are they not? If I could just prove that they're real, then the cops would listen to me. No, girl, no one in this universe listens to you. They didn't. This writer was so incompetent that they didn't write a single person in this film who thought maybe she had a point. She can't have one sympathetic conversation in this film with somebody who's like, I know, it's so disturbing. Not even in like an ironic way. Not even like somebody who's like, oh yeah, well I can't watch that, but let me go blow some people up in Grand Theft Auto. Like not even in like a commentary on violence in another form where it's like, yeah, no, I don't watch, like that's too real for me. Let me go kill some people in Call of Duty real quick. Like it's not even like that. It's just like even her, I guess her gay best friend, whose name I forgot because he comes in and out of the film as required. Um does not seem to care, like in general. It's just, I mean, she's trying to look through the metadata, and some people are like, but I don't think anybody's really invested in the way that she is or is appalled in the way that she is. But it feels like in our real world, more people would be appalled than not. Like the real world in which we live in, which is supposed to be somewhat commentating on and reflective of, is a little bit more like, oh my God, what? Like, um, they'd be a little bit more appalled, shocked, whatever, by what's happening in this thing. And which is why Faces of Death has a limited appeal, which is why it's on Shudder, because it's appealing to horror fans, because there's a niche. It's a niche. This is not the summer blockbuster. If Faces of Death spoke to everybody, it would be making $200 million in the middle of June. Like it just doesn't speak to everybody because it's not the film that, it is a niche audience. So to suddenly flip it around and then everybody around Barbie Ferreira was like, oh my God, I love violence and gore and killing and death and murder. This is my favorite thing ever. Is just a bit of a hard sell for me. I would have built up for, you know, on a little bit of a different path than that. And that's where I kind of draw the line. However, on the same side, I also recognize that this film does deliver exactly on what it's promising you, which is, that somebody is obsessed with Faces of Death and is recreating the Faces of Death videos, and that it's incredibly brutal, violent, gory, all the stuff that horror people are looking for. So, do I give it a rotten score because I think that the messaging is heavy-handed and doesn't work, or do I give it a plus because as a horror film, it is horrifying. It, it is stomach churning. It is the things that it's supposed to be. It's repulsive. It's whatever it is. Like in certain points where you're like, I don't want to see. Oh my God, what the fuck is going? Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Like it is what it's supposed to be, and it's pushing the boundary so that. But then again, it's so if it does repulse and or gross me out, then shouldn't there be more people reflective in this world that it's commentating on, right? That are repulsed and or does it think everybody who's gonna watch Faces of Death is gonna be like, yes, cut that fucking head off? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what to do with this movie, man. Because like theoretically, it's like super fresh. Theoretically, people are gonna go into this, they're gonna be like, yeah, it gave me everything I wanted. And those are the people that it's commenting on. It's being like, okay, so we served you that. We served you exactly what you wanted, which was an extremely brutal, graphic, gory, semi-quasi remake of Faces of Death. On the other hand, it's also saying everyone is like that, and there's only Barbie Ferreira, and she's the one to rule them all. She's the one who can save us. There is no one else. She's all alone in the world. And it's just not true. It's just not, that's not the way the film is portrayed. She needed a best friend, she needed a brother, she needed a roommate, she needed a boyfriend, she needed a girlfriend, she needed somebody in this film who she could team up with, who she could Scooby, who had the clear, not just like a somewhat empathetic, which is what the gay best friend for, I can't remember who the actor is or who plays this role. I don't care. His role is so not fleshed out. Not somebody who's just like, I got you the job. Not that character. That's not a real character. I needed her to come home to somebody who was like, oh, babe, you have to, what? They're making you do what? You have to watch what? Oh my God. Oh my God. That's insane. That sounds crazy. You know, she needed a sounding board for her. Instead, they decided to just gaslight her the whole movie into like this, like, why does everyone like this? So, if you like this movie, I validate it. I validate because I see it. I see why you would like this movie. I think this film gives you exactly what it's supposed to. On the other hand, it's from the director of How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which had a lot more nuance to it, which gave you both sides of it. It didn't suggest that everyone who was involved in wanting to save the world was a horrible eco-terrorist. It didn't blanket spread that across everything. It approached it with a little bit defter touch than this film does. This one just kind of steamrolls you, into like and the world sucks. This is a comment on our time where we live now with deep fakes and everybody's just making these violent videos, and content moderators for these social sites are having to filter all this stuff out. I don't even know what she's filtering because they did such a poor job of setting it up where it's like, what is it? Does she filter sex? Does she filter violence? And why isn't there more sexual content, by the way? Why is she only seeing violent content? Why shouldn't she be seeing like a lot of fucking and dick pics like as well? Isn't that in content moderation? I would think that a lot of that goes up on the internet. Um, there should have been an uncomfortable conversation about the kind of things that she would see in that field, which she doesn't really have because the film isn't really actually interested in having that conversation. It's more interested in doing this other thing that it really wants to do, and it does it well. But when it tries to also say that it's a social commentary on it, I just don't think it is. I don't think it is because it didn't socially construct a world in which we actually live. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with this film, but I didn't like it. That is, at the end of the day, I I would not watch. I don't want to watch it again. Um, and I miss the days of Shudder putting out films like Oddity that I really liked. Um, you know, uh, the David Dismalchin film, whose name escapes me right now in this exact moment in time, from a couple of years ago that was really good. I'm missing those films. I don't know what's happening, but Forbidden Fruits is pretty good. I like that. That was fine. And I can see why people will love this, and I think it's gonna have a really high Rotten Tomatoes score, and I think I'm gonna be like in the minority here. But I love Barbie Ferreira too, and I'm really happy that she's getting more work. She was in an excellent film last year that she just did not get enough recognition for. Um, so I there's a lot to like here, but I just don't think it's that well crafted. I just don't believe in that. So I'm gonna give Faces of Death a 5.1 out of 10. I'm gonna go rotten. Sorry. However, there's like the flip side of this where if all I wanted from a film was violence and gore and that kind of thing, if I was the kind of audience that this film thinks everyone is, um, yeah, I would go fresh. So I think this film is going to deliver for a certain amount of people, but I think there would be people who also want nuance with their film and are bothered just by the way the film is set up and structured. So I don't think this film's going to be an easy sell for everybody, for the people who actually like well-crafted horror. I'm not sure this is it. So I'm willing to stand on the side of the fence and say no, even though I think I'm going to be lonely over here. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the other side.